be here and be talking to you. So Meenal has introduced me to to what all the projects that you guys are involved in and Elev8. And it's my pleasure to be here and to help you think about social media and digital marketing strategies. So let's just get started. I had a small deck prepared, and how I wanted to structure this conversation is, talk about what is digital marketing and social media, and how that can be leveraged. But more importantly, from the perspective of your projects, which is the first robotics competition, how can you, go, the guidelines that have been provided to you, how can you use them the best and do the best marketing on social media for your projects? So let's get started. I think I have the screen share. Yeah. Right. So, can everybody see my screen?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. So, I'll be covering first branding and marketing as a subject. I'm sure that you're very familiar with science, mathematics, physics, chemistry, and all those subjects. But branding and marketing are also subjects that one studies when they are doing their, say, business studies or Masters of Business Administration, which is MBA. So that's something that I will cover first. And then the second thing is art of storytelling, which is how do you engage people with the content that you're generating? And that's something that will help you get the point across and will get higher and higher engagement for the content that you are creating. The last would be, what in my mind, having seen all of the content put up by your team there, what are the digital marketing inputs that I have? Which platforms should you be sharing the content on? Who is your TG? How should you be presenting the content and other techniques? And then in the end, I would also like to hear from you that, what are the challenges you face and what are the inputs that you probably need? Before I start, I just wanted to mention that when I started out my company, we started from scratch. We are completely bootstrapped. We did not have, any investment, and our brand has completely grown with the help of social media and digital marketing. And I'm coming from that perspective that, how is it that when you build something, how can you get it across to the larger audience using these particular tools? So before I start, and I just wanted to make this a little more interactive, can anybody tell me what's marketing? Anyone who wants to volunteer to say, okay, what is marketing? What does it mean?
Marketing is like creating a brand for the product or service you're trying to sell to everyone.
Right. And somebody else?
I'd say marketing is trying to ensure that the target audience that you have is aware of your product and knows what it is and wants to buy it.
Yeah.
It's the promoting and it's selling your product. It's essentially just promoting and selling your product.
Right. So if that's marketing, then what is branding?
Is branding like making your product unique? Like something, not keeping your product a general thing, but making it more unique as a product.
Okay. And what's the difference between marketing and branding?
I think you can market using the brand you have.
Yeah. Right. So both are connected. So let's go back to our deck and let's just see what the expert definition is, and then I'll give some more insights to that. Marketing is the action or business of promoting and selling products or services, including market research and advertising. Whereas the branding is marketing, practice of creating a name, symbol, or design that identifies and differentiates a product from other products. And this means that marketing is getting the word out there, but branding is when people start recognizing you for a particular product or service, right? And both of these techniques are extremely important in understanding on how to build a particular concept and get more and more users to engage with you on the same. Besides branding and marketing, I also wanted to ask you, do you know what is storytelling? So basically, whenever you are building a brand, you want to go out to the audience and tell a story, right? Uh, for example, like Google, right? So Google is what? It's a search engine, but and it also provides a host of other tools, which is whether it's email or it's business analytics or Google Analytics and then YouTube and so on. But as a brand, when they are talking about themselves, and if you look at their advertisement strategy, they are just talking about how they're letting people find something that they need. So I'm not sure if you've particularly seen this ad, but I wanted to share it with you so that you get an idea what I'm talking about. Let me just play it. And this is an ad by Google.
ये मैं यूसुफ लंगोटिया यार सी मेरा लाहौर में हमारे घर के सामने एक बड़ा बाग था। उस बाग का गेट पापा आदम के द्वारा रोज शाम को हमने वहाँ पतंगे उड़ानी और उसके बाद जाके यूसुफ के दुकान से झजरिया चुरा के खानी।
झजरिया?
मेरा साहब नमस्ते। नमस्ते, मेरी पोती मुंबई वाली। और बेटे क्या हाल चाल है?
Hello, do you have a word with Dr. Ganguly? Okay, that's fine. So you may not be wanting to join. Okay?
बचपन की तंग गली फिर से कूद फांदे छोटी छोटी मीठी चोरी गांठ लेके बांधे। हेलो अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
फैसल स्वीट्स?
हाँ जी। दादाजान, दिल्ली से किसी की कॉल है। हेलो,
यूसुफ अंकल?
कौन?
जी मैं सुमन बोल रही हूँ दिल्ली से, आपके बचपन के दोस्त बलदेव जी की पोती। याद है बचपन में आप दोनों झजरिया चुरा के खाते थे?
बचपन की तंग गली फिर से कूद फांदे छोटी छोटी मीठी चोरी गांठ लेके बांधे। एक पतंग सा उड़ता था परिंदों की तरह, परिंदों की तरह, परिंदों की तरह। एक दौर था मन मन मोर था, एक दौर था मन मन मोर था। पार्टीशन के वक्त हम रातों रात हिंदुस्तान आ गए।
दादू?
यूसुफ दी बड़ी याद आती। कागजों की कश्तियों में डूब रहता था, झांकती खिड़कियों में उलझा रहता था। वो भी क्या दौर था, मन पे न जोर था। एक दौर था मन मन मोर था, एक दौर था मन मन मोर था।
भैया थोड़ा जल्दी।
हाँ जी, कौन? Happy birthday यारा. Yusuf, why so balloon? Why? Yusuf, यार.
Okay, so guys, that was the longish video. But the point being that a lot of brands use storytelling as a method to.
मंडे को 3 बजे और कहाँ
One
होंगी?
second, let me see if it's.
किसके ऑफिस में ना? जिस दिन तुम
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So, point being that storytelling is a method which is used by a lot of brands to get across the products or services they provide. And data tells us that 92% of the consumers want a brand that makes that feels like a story. And there's a lot of psychological research which is done around it on storytelling, on something that gets to the audience that you're looking for. For example, Google has so many products, but they chose a very, very emotional ad to show that how each product helps people as human beings. And the science of storytelling says that the brain processes content that tells that tells a story 60 times faster, and a lot of decisions are based on emotions, which drives the engagement. So what I'm trying to say here is that when you're putting content out there, you need to make it in the form of a storyboard. Why is it getting out there? What are you talking about? Where did it happen? When and how? And when you put the content out there in terms of a story, it gets a lot more engagement as well as reviews and audience. And coming back to what I saw from the content which has already been shared by your team, is that one, it's very good. It's amazing what you guys are doing, and building all of these things and participating in the competition for robotics. However, when you are posting videos out there are a few things that you should keep in mind. The videos, first of all, should be self-explanatory, which means that when you're putting a video out there, the video is gonna be for the general public. So you guys are, developing these projects for a competition, but the final viewership that you have when you are putting the content in the public space is probably, say, your parents, your friends, family, anybody who's in your network. So the video needs to tell the story of what is the project about, how did you do it, who does it impact, and it's so important to let people know what would be the application of the project that you're creating. And that is the first feedback. The second feedback that I wanted to discuss with you is the kind of social media portals that you should be available on. So first of all, I saw that a lot of content is getting posted on Facebook page, but from my personal experience, Facebook pages as a tool does not allow you to drive a lot of engagement. And instead, what you could do is actually start uploading these videos on YouTube and share it from YouTube on several other portals. So what will happen is that every time that somebody sees the video which has been shared on another portal from YouTube, your YouTube engagement will go up. The content will also be more shareable, because if you keep sharing the Facebook pages, some people who may not have a Facebook account or may not have an app on their phone may not be able to view it. Then the second thing is, after doing YouTube, Instagram is also a very, very important channel that can be explored. Firstly, there is a lot of content which is already available on Instagram in the segment that you operate in. And how do you find it? Is you use hashtags to find who are the people doing similar projects. You can follow them to see what kind of videos they are posting, and you can also post your own videos. And using the power of hashtags, you can be discovered. You can do a lot of more things on social media. One is like, engage live with, say, another influencer who is in a similar space, which can get you a lot of eyeballs. You can also do live sessions for, say, younger students, or do like a webinar sort of a live session for parents or teachers to join. Then you can also be active on Twitter. Why I say Twitter is because a lot of universities, departments of science and technology, people interested in robotics, and even companies who are developing similar products are extremely active on Twitter. So keep sharing your progress of whatever you are developing, of your project, with all these people on Twitter, because you never know what will ever get picked up or noticed. So it's always great to keep posting things out there so that somebody picks it up. Then the second thing you must do is identify who your TG is. Now, what is TG? Can anybody tell me what is TG?
Target group.
Yes. What is a target group?
The specific audience that you want to reach out to, or the content is meant for.
Right. That's absolutely right. So thank you, Raghav. Target group is the set of people who are willing to consume what you have to share. And the target group in your case would be your peers, fellow teams who are competing for the same competition. It will also be people from the universities. There will be people who are interested in robotics, parents of children who are interested in robotics, teachers, government bodies of science and technology, and the list could go on, but this is what I thought that you could start with. And you will be able to find all these people because a lot of platforms like Instagram and Facebook allow you to choose the target audience. And this is when you're running an ad. So for example, you raise funding for your project. You can allocate a part of that fund to actually invest in the marketing of your videos or your project. And when you do the marketing of your project on social media, you will be able to select all of these in terms of what Facebook pages they like, or if you're doing a Google ad, you can based on your education and your background or what pages they like to see, it's possible to identify your peers. And why I'm saying this is when you advertise or market your product or your project to the people who are interested in similar things, then the chances of it getting viral or getting higher and higher engagement goes up. And that's why it is very important to identify your TG and market the projects to them. Then this is something that I just discussed. Tell stories through the videos and the content posted. Who, what, why, where, how. So for example, I saw one of the projects on your page by Lavanya, who's developed a bionic limb. But there was just one simple post there. Instead, if the team can post about how it was developed. First of all, who is Lavanya? She's a 16-year-old girl studying in the school. What did she develop? Which is a bionic limb. Where can it be used? What will be its impact? And how is the project going forward in the industry application? So when you create a whole, either a slideshow or a video around it, and believe me, you don't need an agency to create a video. You can actually do it on your own by clipping together important aspects of that story and either narrating it like a voiceover or even having simple text out there which says, during a slideshow or during a video, who these people are, what are they doing, why are you doing it, and what is the impact. And believe me, what you guys are doing is extremely shareable content, which people, not just in your network but otherwise, would be proud of seeing that. The children in today's times, the school kids, or even you just as young as 16, 17-year-olds are doing such impactful work. And so the content that you have or the projects that you're doing are extremely shareable, but you need to put them in the right story format to be able to do that. And what I would suggest your approach should be is that when you start off with the project, just like you have certain project goals before you start a project, you probably get together as a team and say, okay, this would be the goal of our project. This is what we're trying to develop. These are the ingredients or the small mechanics which are needed. This is what we will put together, and this would be the final result. And then you keep on experimenting till you reach the final level to which your project or your robot works perfectly. Marketing and branding are also exactly like that. So when you approach them like that, when you start off with when your project is ready, you should also set goals for your marketing and branding. Set your marketing goals that we want to reach 100,000 people in India to show them the kind of impact our project is having. Or we need to garner some 100,000 views or plus engagement and comments to show the first robotics competition that we have done such an incredible work. And so set your goals. Then, like I said, identify your TG. Then, as much as possible, play those ads or play those videos or whatever content that is generated to that particular TG. Once you do that, the engagement will start coming in. Then you have to just keep on driving it. So if somebody comments that, wow, this is great, somebody from your team should like it and say thank you, because that bumps up such posts. And the more you do it, the more it gets shared. And so this is what I had in mind, based on what limited knowledge I gathered from looking at your pages. But I want to open the floor for questions and answer any specific challenges that you guys face while doing the social media or digital marketing, as well as anything that you need help with getting the word out there, and what social media techniques you could use. So go on, please ask me.
So, right, as Miss said, we are now taking questions. So, if you can just use the raise hand feature, and Manan will call on y'all, and y'all can ask your question. And we want to keep this as interactive as possible. Yes, we have someone, Ishita Shukla. Please go ahead and ask your question.
Yeah, I have a question. When we're like advertising on social media, how do you like get that many followers? How do you put the word out there? Because we usually get stuck to our friends and families. We can't really expand further than that. So any tips on that?
Yeah, first of all, the answer depends on which social media portal you are on, right? Supposing you are on Instagram. When you're on Instagram, you should use multiple hashtags to ensure that people who are following such hashtags are also able to view. So, for example, there is a hashtag called hashtag robotics. And when you keep on posting content on hashtag robotics, people who've had an interest in robotics will automatically start seeing your feed because they follow a certain hashtag. So that's one very good way to get noticed. And that's on Instagram. When you speak about YouTube, it is very keyword specific. So you should put content in your YouTube description and title, which people would be searching for when they are searching for a video similar to that. So, for example, you've prepared something for first robotics competition. The words first robotics competition, robotics, the project that you've developed, any other details or any links that give indication or lead them to a website with more details should be put there. Because like Google, YouTube is also owned by Google and it follows keyword search. And hence it's very important to use the right keywords. What you can also do when posting your content on YouTube is that you can do a search using any free keyword tool as to what are the keywords people are looking for when they are searching for robotics, and you can paraphrase the content in such a way that your content contains all those words. Because what will happen is when people even do a Google search, there is a video tab which comes separately, which shows up all the videos, as well as even in the main first page of Google organic search, you start getting a lot of videos which are relevant in nature. And it doesn't matter whether the number of views are higher or not, but if you have the right keywords, they will definitely show up. So that's for Instagram and YouTube. Facebook, like I said, may not be the perfectly appropriate channel because it is meant for a closed network. So unless you are making your post public and letting everybody see, the chances are it will be harder to crack Facebook than any other portal. However, having said that, in case you have budgets and you want to do social media marketing through a sponsor, by spending some money, you can actually do Facebook ads. In which case, you can choose, say, a video ad or a slideshow ad, and you can select the key target audience. People who like pages called robotics, people who like, say, Caltech, people who like, university or MIT. And those people would be the correct audience for your, say, content. So if you do a paid ad on Facebook, yes, it will get you far more traction. Then as far as Twitter is concerned, you should be tagging people in the industry and showcase your work to them. Sometimes some people may reply, sometimes they may not reply, but if they do, then there is a higher chance that your work has been noticed and it gets picked up from there. So it's, social media is a great tool, but in the beginning, it's not easy to crack. It also requires a lot of experimentation on what works, what doesn't work. And when you start doing, you also start realizing that it's not impossible to crack. If your content starts getting shared, the higher and a lot of people start sharing it, it will get the right amount of traction. But for every social media tool, there is a different way of doing things. Hope that answered the question.
Thank you.
Guys, we really encourage more questions, and yeah, you can just raise your hand. That's it, and we'll come to you.
For some
sorry.
reason, I don't have a raise hand feature.
That's okay. Just go ahead and ask your question. Go ahead.
All right. So I wanted to ask her that how difficult was it from going from 0 followers to 50,000 followers, and how did she plan out the budget for this?
Okay. So it was not very difficult. When I started out our social media channel, it was 2018 of July, and as of today, we have 70,000 followers. So it's taken us 2 years to get here. But now that we are already here, the first 10,000 took the maximum time, And from 10,000 onwards, it's been a smoother journey. So how we did it? First of all, we shared a lot of stories. We shared stories of, our customers, who they are, and stories of your children. So for example, whenever a customer uses one of our products, we request them to share their pictures, and if they consent to it, we weave a story around it, and after speaking to them, and we post it like that. So that helps because first of all, it gathers a lot of attention that somebody who's not very famous on social media, these people are normal customers, they don't have much following and they're not celebs, that somebody has shared those stories and it immediately gets traction. And first of all, a story gives people more ideas on what are the applications of it. So that was one. Again, secondly, while we do paid marketing for our products, we've not done any paid marketing for getting followers and engagement. So that is completely organically grown. And again, one of the key reasons is first is we've been very, very active on social media. We've engaged with anybody who's ever messaged us or contacted us on like a comment and tagged us. Then the third thing is that we've also depended a lot on hashtags. So we know what we did is we did an extensive research on which are the hashtags which are most followed in the target group that we have, which is mothers and babies. And we started posting a lot of content out there and hashtagging that. And that has led to a lot of discovery. So even despite the fact that we do paid marketing and we get customers from there, but through organic things like what I just discussed, we get about almost 2,000 visits to the page organically just on basis of these kind of techniques. What we've also done is to increase our engagement with the customers. We've also had a lot of live sessions in which somebody joins us like an expert, say, an expert on nutrition to talk about the first foods for the baby or the immunity building foods and so on. And so these techniques have helped us garner a lot of followers organically. And I think the biggest reason behind this has been how the content has been posted and the whole storytelling behind it. Because when we are posting something, when we post product pictures, for example, okay, and I want to draw a correlation here. So our products are like, these bags or dresses or kids products. And when we post our own products, we get a very low engagement. But when we post a story for a customer or, how our product was used by different customers and we weave it together in a slideshow or something, then we get extremely high engagement because people feel connected. And the same thing that I'm trying to tell you is that if you just post a picture of the product or, for example, a cat video, people may not understand what you are trying to tell them. And therefore, weave it into a story. Tell them the how, why, when, where, what of it, and build that kind of emotional connect with them. And your content will definitely go viral as a result of that. Because you're doing so much work, but people need to understand what is it that you're doing and what is the final impact of it. And I think that correlation between what you're doing and what is the impact and putting it out there will make a lot of difference in the marketing aspect of it.
So you mentioned that we need to answer certain questions, right? Such as the how and the why, so that our content appeals to a general audience.
Correct.
So how much of a role do you think captions should be playing in something like this?
So captions are important. And when I'm saying how and why and everything, I don't mean that you write a very long 100 word essay kind of a post. It has to be concise,
Right.
but it needs to be concise enough to let the common man understand what is the gist of the project and its impact. So like you are saying that, you know, your posts and stories or whatever you share gets limited only to your friends and family, and that's because you are not able to reach the common audience. And to reach the common audience, you have to actually dumb down the content, not in terms of what you have done, but in terms of making them understand the value of it. And then, you know, share using the techniques that I mentioned, which are hashtags and share buttons and other options and likes and comments, and even using a small budget to doing an ad for that particular TG, and it will work. So yes, captions are important, but the entire uh, post that you write should be a mix of captions and actual content. And the content should be written in a way that it weaves a story behind it, and you know, makes that person emotionally connected with your work.
I had a question, ma'am. So, ma'am, you spoke about storytelling and how it helps in businesses. I mean, how it helps in marketing. I completely agree with you, but I do think that some brands like overdo the storytelling aspect to the point where they just tell the story and then at the end, like they just flash their brand's name. Like, okay, I'm just giving an example. For example, insurance ads. So they give like a really elaborate story, and then at the end, get this insurance, whatever, and then they cut it there. So, ma'am, so I think there's a fine line between like like whether you should overdo it or keep it in the. I mean, keep it in the zone so you're still marketing your product. So, ma'am, what do you have to say about that? Like, how do we avoid overdoing it?
So, no, you're absolutely right. And the goal should not be lost. And the goal is to get more engagement for the project that you're doing. And so, while your project is the hero, so you must consider that the work that you've done or the project that you've done is the hero which you need to highlight. So, everything, even the story that you weave around it, should be around that particular hero, and so you shouldn't lose focus of that. There are a lot of marketing techniques. There will be some marketers who will not even mention the product and just put the logo somewhere. And you know, there will be marketing techniques where there will be the brand and the product will be so much in face and there'll be no story. It will just be like just about the brand, and there are a lot of techniques to do that. But like you rightly said, there is a fine line which, you know, balances both the acts, and that's what you should do. You should make the project your hero and build the story around it so that the impact can be understood by the audience that you want to advertise to.
Oh, thank you, ma'am. I also had another question. It's related to this, but the brands who do, tell a very elaborate story and then make their product come in the end or something. Why do they do that? Why do they employ this particular marketing technique?
See, sometimes it's because the brand is so well known that it doesn't really need too much of a placement at every step to be able to convince the buyer to buy them. They might have market share, which is, say, about 70 to 80% of the market, or they might be already very prevalent in that particular market, and they're just trying to get that emotional connect to let the consumer stay with them. So their goal is to not dent the market or get that market share. Their goal is to let the customer remain connected with them. And that's why they sometimes engage in such techniques. Hope that's clear.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Do we have more questions?
You can just unmute yourself, maybe if you can't raise your hand, and I think it'll just work well. Anyone has anything else? All right. can I ask a question then? I have a question for Ms. So
Yeah.
actually, I feel like right now in the changing times when we are moving, I think when the youth is moving from more than Facebook to Instagram, how important is it to keep a balance between these social media platforms? And is it important for us to, maybe look at a particular platform, favorably over another?
Yes, to answer your first question is that in terms of social media, when you're getting your work out there, you should be present on every platform. Any platform that has users, you should be present there because you don't know which will work for you. So it's great to be showcasing your work on every platform. The answer to the second question is yes, you have to favor one platform over the other because every platform will not give you the same results as the other one. In your case, I feel that YouTube and Instagram would be more favorable because it's easier to first of all find and connect with audience in those platforms, as well as they are very easy for sharing videos, and Instagram will be for images as well. And the kind of work you do can be exemplified a lot by using the audio visual platforms like videos, stories, presentations, or images. Platforms which are friendly to such media are more conducive for the goal that you are trying to achieve.
Thank you. Manan, are there some more questions as well?
No. So we've asked the audience. So if anyone still has any more questions that sprung off this one or a response to it, please ask them.
If anyone wants to add anything as well, it would be good because we want to keep this as interactive as possible and try to get as much out of this session as we can.
I had a doubt. I mean, it's not like much of a question. I
That's
was just
okay. Go
confused.
ahead.
What was the name of ma'am's company again?
It's the Mom Store. It's a mother and baby products company. We are an e-commerce business. The Mom Store.
All right. Thank you so much.
Does anyone else have questions or anything to clarify?
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, within one platform, if you want to target separate groups, do you do that by, for example, on Instagram, do you hashtag differently? Do you make different posts, or do you make one post just for like the general audience?
You can make one post for the general audience. If you use different hashtags, it would appear in people who are following those hashtags. You can use a lot of stories, and when you post on Instagram, there are ways to actually get the same content and story replicated on your connected Facebook account as well. So I would say that you should not be posting the same content again and again because then that platform will start deprioritizing it. Post fresh content frequently, but use different hashtags to get the different audience interested. And there are, for example, on Instagram, there will be a lot of influencers, and I check that there are who are majorly into robotics or sharing videos and images around it. These are students in US universities. These are even people in India who are just building something from scratch, and they have hundreds and millions of followers. So if you start commenting on their posts or start, tagging them or even reaching out to them to have a shared collaboration where you could do some project together in a live format, that can also provide a huge bump to your engagement levels. So you have to start somewhere, and when you keep on pursuing that and doing it on a regular basis, like a project in itself, it will definitely show results.
Okay, thank you.
Any
I have a
more?
question. Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Go ahead.
Okay, so how do you so if you're posting on Instagram, how do you stop it from getting repetitive and like not posting the same things? Because like if I follow like a business, I feel like they keep on like posting the same things, and like I actually think of like unfollowing because I don't like want to see like every. How do you like stop that from happening?
So, first of all, what we do on our Instagram channel is that we plan our posts. So we plan that, okay, this week we are going to do 5 different posts, and they will be from 5 different categories. So 3 will be customer posts, 1 will be product post, and 2 will be posts for a live session. So you can actually plan ahead on what is it that you want to share with the audience out there, and then create the content around it. If the least amount of engagement comes from the content which is made without any thought, like a proper poster, people don't want to see that. And if you, I don't know what business you're talking about, but a lot of time businesses make that mistake that they don't get personal with your customers. The biggest reason why digital and social media is successful is because it brings the consumers closer to the brand. For example, if our customer wants to reach us uh, today and right now they message us, they will get a reply within 5 minutes. A couple of years ago, in the absence of social media, this was simply unthinkable. How can you reach out to a brand and just talk to them about, any confusion or anything that you have in your mind about the brand or the product?
Yeah, that
And
makes.
that distance is getting smaller. And because of that, you should be posting fresh content which appeals to the user, which gets them connected to your brand. And therefore, you can always plan the post. How do I maintain that freshness in content? And so on different days, I will post on different topics.
Any more
Um,
questions?
Yeah, I actually do have a question, and I think it'll be very helpful for all the students who are part of new teams on this call. So, we've been having a lot of sessions with people, and we are coming up with lots of team names and team logos. So, is it possible for you to kind of give us a breakdown of what exactly we should keep in mind when we're talking about team names and logos? Because, that's a huge part of building a brand, which is building your team.
Yeah, of course. The name and logo are perhaps the most important thing that a brand can create to drive that recallability in the minds of the audience. So you should choose something which people can immediately relate to. Something in your community, say a symbol which is immediately reminded of, oh, this is the team which made this particular project. And I should be easy to remember. It should be simple, and it should be memorable, so that if somebody sees it once, even if they don't remember your brand name, they always recall that this logo was there. Having said that, I noticed that on your Facebook page you had written 7539 FRC team Elevate. I'm not sure if that's how the guidelines are, but just a team Elevate would be more memorable, and the recall would be much higher, because when somebody sees a term like that, they will be like, okay, what is it, like, is it a actual page, or is it a bit spammy? So just be careful of all those things, because the first thing that people read or they see is extremely important.
Are there any more questions?
I do have a question. I mean, is content very, very important? I mean, very important in the sense, if there is a quite bit of the content on the poster, then will it be able to, I mean, will people read those? Or you think only some, I mean, 4 or 5 words, catchy words can be kept over there with a link where they can go and read the rest of the things?
See, it depends on what the content is and how it has been written. But something which has a lot of content on the poster will get missed. Instead, what you could do is, ask very interesting or riddles kind of questions in the poster, which might be pertaining to the project that you've done, and tell the customer click below to read the answer in the comments, right? To create that sense of urgency, or to create that sense of, oh my god, I need to know the answer to this puzzle, so I have to click and see what the answer is, right?
Correct.
And these are the kind of techniques which will help you get more engagement, because people will start putting on the comments, or uh, if you know the answer, put the answer in comments and we will let you know whether it's right or wrong. People will start answering whether the answer is, say, 12 or 15 or whatever the riddle is, and then you can write right or wrong. And when you get more comments and more engagement, your post will start appearing more in more relevant feeds.
I get it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, I had one question.
Go ahead.
So, is there like some particular type of content that especially blows up on social media? Like in the context of our robotics team, would you rather post like more on outreach, or would you give more weightage to like the technical aspect of it? What do you think would like become big and blow up?
I think what will blow up is content which is around how your robotics things operate and what is the impact it actually has in science and technology, whether it's a medical impact or it's an impact in the um, you know in the mechanics industry, or whether it's a drone, or what is the application of it, because people are very eager to know how it will impact them in their day-to-day life. If you make something which is very arcane and complicated, it might be great, and if people fail to understand its application, then they will not share it or reshare it because they don't understand what it is. So it's very important for you to showcase your work. That is the most important thing. But along with it, what is its application? Who does it benefit? And how will it be used in any industry? Accompanying that kind of a message is extremely important, which is what I'm saying. Make it for the layman, because your friends, family, and your personal network will never be able to make anything viral. The virality will only come from general public, right? And for the general public to understand what you're saying needs to be accompanied with an explanation as to what is it and how is it going to help.
Thank you. Now it's almost 5, so just one last question. And that's very pertinent to this particular call, this webinar. And that would be, how could we present this call on our social media page effectively? Some specifics.
You're asking me that. Okay. So, maybe you could jot down the key learnings from it, or, based on this conversation, do a team huddle on how you will improve your marketing strategy or branding strategy, and share that with, say, the audience for their feedback, and create an account everywhere and say that from now we will be sharing this content, or basically your learnings from this call would be, I think, a great post. And you all of you guys can collectively, since I guess there are some about 40 people on the call, and if you guys are able to get together and put that summary out there on what changes you would be doing or what's your renewed marketing strategy, and each of you share, that content will already start getting out there, and then you can start working on your plan as well.
So I think that's it, because it's 5 o'clock and this session has come to an end.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, please go ahead.
So like, should we like on Instagram? Should we like follow if there's another like something to do with robots? Should we like see the followers of that and try and request them to follow them so they can learn about us. So is that like a good like thing that you can do for like extending the amount of followers you have? Or
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good strategy. So we did that in the beginning too. We started following a lot of influencers. First of all, when you follow a lot of people who are influencers in that space, you get to know what is the content that people like to consume, right? Because they are the people who are getting the maximum engagement. So you understand that consumer behavior. What is it that they're posting that is getting liked so much? Second is you can look at your followers and start following them. When you start following them, at least 20% people will follow you back. And so you start building and being part of that community who's sharing on that topic. And a lot of such topics are very, very community driven on social media. uh, Key influencers, they all know each other, they all post on each other groups, and that's why I suggested a couple of minutes back as well that you should be reaching out to some of these influencers to do a collaboration with you for your project. Either let you do a guest post on their page, or go live with you and do something, it's like a live session about a simple robotics setup or something like that. So yeah, you should definitely do that.
So I think that's it for today's session, and I want everyone over here. I want to thank everyone for joining this, and we're overwhelmed to see the number of people that joined the first session of Date with Elevate, and we hope to have more sessions like this with more influential speakers. I want to thank you, Ms. Surbhi, for giving us your time today and for talking to us about your company and how you can build and how we can build our own brand. We have a lot of students today who are part of new FRC and new FTC teams, and who are all hoping to launch their teams as fast as they can with a good social media page, good team name, logo, and everything. For most of us are working with them, and I think lots of the questions asked today will help us clarify any further doubts. So this is really helpful for us when we're talking to new teams as well. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for everyone who joined in today. And please, follow us on Instagram so that you can, be aware of any more of these Date with Elevate sessions that are going to come out. And we promise that there are going to be a lot of them. We hope to have at least one every week. Thank you.
Thank you, and all the best to each one of you. I'm sure you'll do like amazing work, and you'll be able to get the word out there. And you have all my best wishes.
Thank you, Surbhi, so much for your time. This has been so insightful and so helpful. I mean, you're going to see a lot of difference in our marketing and our branding strategies going forward. And we shall keep you posted about all our growth.
Yeah, definitely. And you ever have any questions, any specific or any doubts or anything, you can always reach out to me through email.
Of course, I will. Of course. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye. Thank you, everyone, for attending.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We can leave, right?